Video 78, Article 4, Delivery of Health Education Area 8, both subcompetencies 8.1.1. Review the learning objectives for this video. Article 4 focuses on your responsibility in the delivery of health education, and this is where ethical theory meets your everyday practice. I find this article especially exciting to teach because it is where the principles we have discussed in previous videos become tangible actions that affect real people in real programs. The first principle is evidence-based practice. You must use methods and materials grounded in scientific evidence and supported by peer-reviewed research. You cannot promote unproven treatments or use strategies shown to be ineffective simply because they are popular or because a charismatic speaker endorses them. As a health education specialist, you are a steward of scientific integrity, and the people you serve trust that your recommendations are based on the best available evidence. The second principle is creating safe learning environments, both physically and emotionally. Physical safety means ensuring program spaces are accessible, well-maintained, and hazard-free. Emotional safety means creating an atmosphere where participants feel respected, where confidentiality is maintained in group settings, and where no one is pressured to share personal information beyond their comfort level. This is especially critical for sensitive topics like mental health, substance use, sexual health, or domestic violence, where participants may carry significant vulnerability into the room. Third is risk disclosure, which is often overlooked in health education, but is just as important here as it is in research. Physical activity programs could cause injury, especially for participants with underlying health conditions. Group sessions could trigger emotional distress when sensitive topics are discussed. Screening events could reveal anxiety-producing diagnoses that participants were not expecting. As a health educator, you must identify and clearly communicate these potential risks before participation begins so that individuals can make truly informed decisions. Fourth, informed consent in program delivery means participants understand what will be expected of them, how long the program lasts, and what activities are involved. Even programs that seem low risk to you deserve proper consent because what feels routine from a professional perspective may feel very different to a participant encountering it for the first time. Finally, all methods must be culturally appropriate and respectful of participants' cultural backgrounds, values, and lived experiences. You are gaining the tools to deliver programs that truly honor the people you serve. The distinction between evidence-based and popular approaches is a critical ethical issue that I want you to understand thoroughly because this knowledge will protect both you and the communities you serve. Evidence-based practice means your methods have been tested through peer-reviewed research demonstrating measurable positive outcomes in populations similar to the one you serve. The approach should be grounded in established health behavior theory, such as the health belief model, social cognitive theory, or the trans-theoretical model, also known as the stages of change model. These theoretical foundations provide a framework for understanding why a strategy works, not just whether it works. In contrast, popular approaches may trend on social media without any scientific basis or theoretical grounding. A wellness influencer might promote a detox program with millions of followers but zero peer-reviewed studies supporting its safety or effectiveness. A school district might adopt a prevention program simply because a neighboring district uses it, without ever checking whether evaluation data supports the program's claims. These situations are more common than you might think, and they place health educators in an important gatekeeping role. Under Article 4, you must distinguish between what is popular and what is actually effective. You must be prepared to justify your program choices based on theory, evidence, and professional judgment rather than trends, convenience, or participant demand alone. This does not mean ignoring what participants want. It means integrating their preferences within an evidence-based framework. On the exam, the correct answer always favors evidence-based approaches over popular but untested alternatives, even when the scenario describes strong participant enthusiasm for the unproven method. Keep that principle front and center as you work through practice questions, and you will navigate these scenarios with confidence. Creating a safe learning environment is both a practical skill and an ethical obligation under Article 4, and I want you to feel fully prepared to handle this in your own programs. This responsibility requires attention to both the physical space and the emotional atmosphere you create. Physical safety starts with assessing the space for accessibility, including wheelchair access, clear pathways, appropriate seating arrangements, adequate lighting, and emergency preparedness, such as knowing the location of exits and first aid supplies. If your program involves physical activity, check all equipment for proper functioning, inspect floor surfaces for hazards, and ensure adequate ventilation. These practical steps protect participants from foreseeable harm. Emotional safety is equally important and often more challenging to maintain. Participants may discuss personal health behaviors, confront sensitive topics, or share experiences that make them feel vulnerable. Establish ground rules explicitly at the start of every program, including respecting differing opinions, maintaining the confidentiality of what is shared in the room, and using respectful and inclusive language. Make these ground rules visible, such as posting them on a wall or a projected slide, so participants can refer to them throughout the session. Protecting confidentiality within group settings deserves special attention because it involves a limitation you must acknowledge honestly. You can control your own professional behavior, but you cannot guarantee that other participants will keep discussions private after they leave the room. Be transparent about this limitation during your opening remarks so participants can make informed decisions about what they choose to share. Have referral resources ready for participants who experience distress during program activities. If someone becomes upset during a discussion about grief, trauma, or personal health challenges, provide information about counseling services, support groups, or crisis hotlines appropriate to your community. Finally, never pressure participants to share personal information. Voluntary participation includes the right to observe without contributing, to pass on a question during group activities, or to step out of an activity that feels uncomfortable without needing to explain why. You are learning to create spaces where people feel safe enough to learn and grow, and that is a truly valuable skill. Read the scenario stem aloud. Give students 30 seconds to consider options before advancing. The correct answer is C. The correct answer is C. Article 4 requires health educators to use evidence-based methods and provide accurate information in all program delivery. This scenario illustrates a common tension between participant preferences and professional responsibility. While respecting participant preferences is important under Article 1, the ethical obligation to deliver programs grounded in scientific evidence takes precedence when a technique has no research support and makes unsupported health claims. Option A prioritizes popularity over evidence. Simply because participants requested the technique does not make it appropriate for a professionally delivered program. Health educators are trusted to exercise professional judgment about what methods are safe and effective. Option B still includes an unsupported technique within a professional health education program, which could lend it undeserved credibility. Adding a disclaimer does not resolve the fundamental problem of promoting an unproven method in a professional setting. Option D is an overreaction that denies participants the opportunity to learn effective, research supported stress management strategies. Canceling an entire program because of one controversial request is neither practical nor helpful to the community. The correct approach in option C is to replace the unproven technique with evidence-based stress management strategies such as progressive muscle relaxation, mindfulness meditation, or cognitive behavioral techniques. To take the opportunity to educate participants about why evidence-based practice matters for their safety and well-being. Summarize the key